All right. Let's go offensive line here. I got one question for you, and it's very similar to my Winston Wright question, except I'm going to ask it more emphatically. Caden Lyles is your starting center, right? Like, you better be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody that's I don't see the payoff for having him go anywhere other than center at that point. I mean, Maury Smith, that by the end of the year, it was painfully obvious that kid, not knocking him, hard worker, probably suffered from some injuries, but like you were getting physically dominated at the center position at a level that you just can't have happen as an offense, and your center can't consistently be 3.5 yards into your offensive set almost immediately from the point of attack. So, Caden Lyles, you went out, got him, nice little pickup win. Certainly weren't the only school that was trying to get him, and I think you've got to immediately put him at the C position, and know that absent injury, that kid's going to take 95% of your snaps at that position.
For sure. Like I physically, he looks the part. Athletically, I want to see it still, but I'm encouraged. Next question I have: is there any chance that one of these four guys gives you something this year as opposed to next year? And you put these four on the list. So Lloyd Willis, developmental offensive tackle prospect. Kind of we have some questions about how focused he is consistently on improving. Rod Orr, second-year guy, redshirted last year. Bryson Estes, interior offensive line prospect, who's also a second-year guy. And then, obviously, Herring, who's Zane Herring is in his third year. What do you think? Like, if you had to answer this question, are you answering it in the affirmative?
I think the guy most ready to contribute, or perhaps likely to contribute from this list immediately, is Estes, actually. We'll have to see if that's the case. I mean, I really am almost judging this position kind of like what we talked about, some of the defensive line position, that you don't have to have it be immediately ready, but if you're going to be a contributor, if you're being developed and kind of brought along in that process, then normally you can see some flashes of it. You can see some glimpses during spring that's taken place. And are any of these guys kind of in that positive development cycle that you would need to see from them? We'll see. We'll see. I do think that, you got to probably hit on two of these guys. And if you're, just going to plug any of them immediately, have to plug any of them into a lineup, you're probably in trouble. But at least at this point in time, I think Estes is probably the closest to contributing from the four.
Here's another one for you. What does Bless Harris look like? I'm interested on that.
Mm-hmm. No.
Transfer from Lamar, big kid, athletic. It's Lamar, so the step up in competition is pretty severe. Can he lock down a spot as your swing tackle? If so, I think you feel pretty good about the take. And then my last question here. Does somebody step up to push for a starting spot between Maurice Smith and Schrader? Now, obviously, we just got done talking about Maurice Smith, so it's unlikely that he will, I think, unless Lyles... Like, if Maurice Smith is seriously contending for a starting spot, we could probably agree it's because Lyles is not as good as we hoped. I think. Like, is it possible that Maurice Smith can make that big of a jump in just 1 year, given his frame? I'm skeptical of that. Thomas Schrader, though, is a guy they liked a lot when they signed, and if not for injury, I think would have probably played last year. But the injury was real, and the frame doesn't look amazing right now, although he's made progress. We'll see how good he looks when he gets out there. But that's another one I'm going to be watching closely.
Schrader, I was concerned when I've seen him in person. Now, look, the guy may just not be Zeus. You don't necessarily need that for every offensive lineman, or not every offensive lineman's going to blow you away when you see him in the hallway or something like that. But Yeah, I think that injury was significant in his development cycle, and we'll just have to see if either of these two guys starts. I'm guessing it's Schrader, and part of me kind of hoping for it, but maybe that's unfair on Maurice, and maybe he was dealing with more challenges than we were aware of last year. But I just, what you saw of Smith was kind of going to be in the back of your head until you see him go out on the field and play in a manner that otherwise is not, getting pushed around pretty heavily at the point of attack.